Breaking news: back Ukraine now or take on Russia tomorrow. There is more at play in the Russia-Ukraine war than just the fight for Ukrainian independence from a revanchist Russia. It is also a war to dismantle the current international order, as Vladimir Putin himself says on multiple occasions. It should be obvious to any impartial observer by now that Russian aggression on the international stage will extend beyond Ukraine unless Putin's invasion is unsuccessful. In preparation for a protracted conflict, the tyrant in the Kremlin has put the entire Russian economy on high alert since February 2022. He consistently frames his invasion as a struggle against the collective West and has assembled an anti-Western alliance of fellow autocrats. The idea that Putin can be bribed with territorial concessions at the expense of Ukraine is made absurd by these actions, which further demonstrate his determination to have an ideological showdown with the West. Putin, in fact, is hell-bent on completing his historic mission and will not relent until he is thwarted. Many Westerners still fail to grasp the gravity of Russia's threat. Military aid to Ukraine is not charity, despite mounting Ukraine fatigue in Western capitals and talk of a standoff on the Ukrainian battlefield. In contrast, arming Ukraine with weaponry and ammunition is a long-term bet on the democratic world's stability and a defense against the disintegration of global security institutions. Putin says it like it is. He wants to end the world order that came into being after 1991 and replace it with one that is more unstable and aggressive. Signs that he is making progress are becoming more apparent. Like Venezuela's recent threats against neighboring Guyana, the tepid Western reaction to Russia's invasion of Ukraine likely prompted Hamas to launch its unprecedented attack on Israel on October 7. Russian impunity must be challenged if the trend toward greater international instability is to be reversed. The democratic world's populace has already paid a heavy political and economic price for the difficulty of countering Russia's threat. Since the invasion began in February 2022, the Ukrainian people have endured unfathomable trauma and devastation, making them more aware of these costs than anybody else. Supporting Ukraine today, before it's too late, will help other European nations avoid a similar fate in the future. There is currently zero urgency in the West's reaction to Russia's invasion. Even though the security situation in Europe has changed dramatically due to Russia's full-scale invasion, the argument over Ukraine's NATO membership has remained largely unchanged. Similarly, discussions regarding the shipment of weapons to Ukraine continue to be plagued by indecision and long delays, all the while the bloodiest conflict seen in Europe since Hitler and Stalin's era rage in eastern and southern Ukraine. The disastrous repercussions of this lackluster response may extend well beyond Ukraine's borders. Putin will feel tremendously encouraged to occupy and subjugate Ukraine if he is able to do so because the West is not resolute. The extra resources and momentum will be there for him as well, which is crucial, because of their relative weakness. Moldova and Kazakhstan would be Russia's first targets in the event of an invasion. Russia may choose to threaten Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, or Estonia in order to further solidify its position, especially since NATO has been demoralized and discredited due to the collapse of Ukraine. Then, NATO commanders would have to make the terrible decision of committing ground troops to confront Russia or admitting defeat and ending the alliance, by providing Ukraine with sufficient weaponry and expediting its NATO integration. All of this can still be prevented. As a matter of urgency, Ukraine needs the means to repel Russia's invasion army. Realizing that Ukraine is a pillar of European security is the only way to reach a long-term peace. Considering the future, we are standing at a pivotal juncture in human history. Russia under Putin's revisionist leadership is preparing for a showdown with the West that will shape global diplomacy in the years to come. The gravity of the Russian threat can be no longer ignored or minimized. Instead, Western leaders have a clear choice: either stand with Ukraine now or confront Russia tomorrow. Currently serving as chairman of the National Security, Defense, and Intelligence Committee in the Ukrainian parliament, Oleksandr Zavetnevich is a lawmaker for the Servant of the People Party.